walking wholeheartedly with Christ. And I was so focused on making money and not losing what I had that I completely lost myself and began using my body, a precious gift that God has created. I decided to use my body, created a whole fans page, and I was making money off of that. And it was in that moment, like, eventually, money came. You know, it came along with gifts. It came with some trips. It came with a lot of different benefits. It took a while to realize that what good is it to gain the world but lose your soul? Because I lost my soul. I was addicted to porn. I began doing things that I knew was not right, but I was so focused and driven to making money that I didn't care. Now, I grew up in the church. I grew up knowing what was right, but I was so fearful and not able to trust God. And I wanted to do things my way instead of waiting. I also didn't have a strong relationship with God. I wasn't talking to him every day. I wasn't praying. And time after time, he had shown me, hey, you need to get it together. And I'm gonna tell y'all how many times he showed me. I remember 2 to be at stake. I shared once about, make sure y'all can hear me. I shared one time about the car accident I got into, and that was a wake-up call in itself. And you know, I promised God in that moment, like, hey, I'm not ready to go, I'm not. And he saved me. And I told him, I made a promise that I would get my life together and I would begin walking wholeheartedly with him. Now, the time before that was a year prior. I remember distinctly, I just finished a workout, I think, and I was in the kitchen with my roommates at the time. And we were just making smoothies, and I think I was juicing some ginger. I was making like ginger shots. And they came up with some liquid chlorophyll, and we were just all mixing like different ingredients, and we were all in our health bag, still in our health bag. But yeah, I was taking shots of ginger and with chlorophyll and just other vitamins. And next thing you know, my throat swelled up. My entire body was inflamed. I remember leaving the kitchen. I was like, hey, y'all feeling all right? Like, my throat is on fire. And it was like, yeah, we're good. And I left the kitchen, I walked into my room, and I looked in the mirror. I had this tall mirror, like from floor to ceiling mirror. And I looked in the mirror and I couldn't recognize myself. Like I had hives, like big whelps, like starting to form on my body. I was like, man, I'm so itchy. My body is on fire. So I jumped in the shower. I was like, all right, let me just cool my body out. Jumped in the shower, washed off, took a cold shower. And I get out 10 times worse. I look in the mirror and my face was so huge. It was like as if a million bees had stung my face and body. That's just how swole I was. And then I FaceTime my mom. I'm like, Bob, what is going on? She's like, you must have came in contact with something you're allergic with. You need to go to the emergency room. So this time, like, roommates are freaking out. Luckily, one of my roommates is a nurse. So she came and she's like, hey, I'm going to the store and get some Benadryl. So then I'm there with my other roommate and she's just watching me. By the time the roommate came back, the nurse roommate came back with the Benadryl, my eyes were completely swollen. My lips were like this big. And she's like, hey, we're going to urgent care. I couldn't drown myself, of course. I could barely breathe. Like, that's how much my throat had swollen up. So I remember and I'm trying to stay coherent. I'm in the car, I'm just trying to stay awake. At the time, I didn't even think to pray. That's just how far away from Christ I was. Didn't even think in a moment to pray to my Holy Father. I'm just like, sitting there like this. So we pull up to urgent care, and I'm trying my best to get out the car. I'm staggering through the doors, and I'm telling the people at the front desk, hey, I could barely talk. I'm like, hey, I need help. Hey, help, I can't breathe. And they're like, we need your insurance card. Where's your, fill out this paperwork. I'm like, please help me. Like, I could barely get the words out. I'm like hovering over the counter, like putting my head on the counter. That's just how fatigued I was. And of course, it's hard to breathe because the oxygen, you're losing oxygen, like your throat is closing up when you go into anaphylactic shock. And this has never happened to me before prior. So, and I just want to give y'all a heads up. The older you get, you'll get allergies. So anyway, a nurse comes from behind the doors, and she's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, please help me. I can't breathe. And she's like looking at me like, what did you take? I was like, please, I just can't breathe. Can you give me a chance? And I fell out, passed out on the floor. And I remember when I was laying on the floor and I was just shaking. Like eyes closed, in and out of consciousness. And I remember her telling me, don't vomit on my floor. And I was out. So now, I'm out cold, and my nails are broken. Pay attention to the story, not my nails. So now, I was taken to the back of the clinic, urgent care clinic, and I just remember having a conversation with God. And he called me up there and was just like, Sierra, how many times I told you to get your life together? Get it together. And that's just summing up the story, because I didn't remember the entire conversation, but the gist of the entire conversation was, I told you to get your life together and you need to change your ways. And boom, all of a sudden, I'm back in my body. And I didn't know what took place. I had to later then speak to my roommates about it, but they told me that I had completely, I guess, flatlined. Like I was out, and I was just in the chair, like this, like lifeless, with the back of my head like hanging over the chair, my arms hanging over the chair. And they said they had called the paramedics came, and I guess they had did something, rubbing salt, I don't know what it was, but they brought me, of course they didn't bring me back to life. And this is what my roommates were telling me, but I know he brought me back to life. I know he sent me back into my body and was like, all right, so you're gonna get it together, all right, give you another chance. So then they said my head instantly snapped back up, and I just remember crying profusely. I'm just crying profusely, like this, and they picked me up and put me on a stretcher and took me to the emergency room. And then later I was given EpiPens and realized I'm allergic to ginger. So I'm saying all this to tell y'all, like, this is real. Like, life is short, and we don't realize how many chances God gives us to just get our lives together. But he's given me chance after chance. And I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful for that opportunity. Because had I been still living the life that I was living, I'd be in hell. But we don't always, like I said, get those opportunities. So when he gives you the opportunity to change your life, you gotta take it. You gotta take it, you gotta run, and you just gotta straighten up. Because I didn't take that in that moment. Like I literally died right there in that chair. And a year later, I'm still doing what I'm doing. I'm still outside. I'm still chasing the money, you know, chasing the bag, doing it for all the wrong reasons. And a year later, that's when the car accident hit. And he's like, hey, calling up another meeting. What's up? You said you was going to do this. So, and I can laugh about it now, but in all seriousness, I had to lose that part of me. I had to die to my flesh, repent of my sins, and just accept the call, like to walk wholeheartedly with Christ. And when I tell you it's the best feeling ever, now I'm gonna keep it real, like it has its ups and downs. Like when you accept the call, you know, it ain't all rainbows and butterflies, but you feel a sense of peace. You feel a sense of security. I have love, I have validation from my Holy Father. I'm not seeking it in this world. I'm not seeking it from men. I'm not seeking it from social media. I'm not seeking it based off the likes on my posts, based off of my Cash App ringing, based off how many times my photos being shared, and you know, just worldly validations. I'm now wholeheartedly focused on Jesus Christ, and it's the best feeling ever. He can deliver you from any and everything you're going through, and you don't have to feel like you're not important, you're not worthy of receiving that type of love, because we've all sinned and fallen short. We've all done it, and I definitely didn't live a perfect life. I just shared that with y'all. So if I can be delivered from chasing and idolizing money and losing my self-worth while doing that, then hey, he can forgive any and everyone. Any and everyone. And he will forgive any and everyone. So I just wanted to share my testimony and hope that this helps someone decide to just repent of their sins and walk wholeheartedly with Christ. You won't regret it. It's the best feeling ever.